I'm Melanie Trailer, and today I just wanted to tell you that we are about to start our second quilt along for my book, Stash Work. So there's Stash Work, and we are quilting along with all the quilt patterns are in the book. So there's 4 quilt patterns, and there's 4 quilt alongs in 2024. We've already completed Checky, so if you haven't gotten to make that quilt yet, there are video demos for every step of the way. But now it's time to, or almost time, to start Dandy Quilt. And let me give you a little look at Dandy Quilt. I'm actually going to show you this quilt in just a minute, the actual quilt. So the whole idea behind this book is to get your stash used when you have bought too much fabric, or you've collected too much, or whatever the thing has happened where you've just got too much, or maybe you just have too much of one color or something like that. That's the purpose of the book, to help you get this fabric used quickly, efficiently, get it done. So I had a few people reach out about what a quilt along is, so I thought I'd kind of go into that a little bit. A quilt along is when we make the same quilt together and you're given tasks and a time frame of when to complete those tasks. So we just completed Checky back in March, and we did 20, 30 blocks a week. That may sound like a lot, but these are fast blocks. These are not, every quilt in this book is strip pieced, and it goes really, really quickly. If you are new to strip piecing, this is a good time to jump in and learn how to do this task, because like I said, I'm going to walk you through every step. Dandy Quilt is actually a lot less piecing than Checky Quilt was. So if you're coming off Checky Quilt, we had that whole extra step of piecing our units together, whereas Dandy Quilt, your units don't need piecing. Once you strip piece, you're done. You cut them and you're done. Also with Dandy, this is a quilt where I've kind of laid out in the book about how easily you could make this quilt follow in like an ombre style or a gradation style of color, moving from one color to the next color, things like that, light to dark. And we're going to talk a lot about that when the quilt along starts. But today I just wanted to show you the 2 Dandy quilts that I've already made. And that way, your brain can go ahead and start thinking about what you want to do with your Dandy quilt. So before that, I'm going to pop up a schedule right now, and this is the schedule we're going to follow along for Dandy Quilt. So that is a Friday, every Friday during this time frame. I'll be in your inbox giving you a demo for that week and tips, tricks, things like that. We're also going to have prizes. So we have some really, really good prizes, and I'm going to start talking about that in the upcoming weeks. All right, so let me show you the 2 Dandy quilts that I've made. All right, so I am showing you the 2 Dandy quilts that I've already made, and these were both made in 2023. This is a very versatile pattern, and when I was designing it, I had ombre on the brain, but there's definitely other things you can do, or just kind of digging through your stash and coming up with things, because I could think of this quilt in rainbow. I could think of this quilt in just a handful of colors, like maybe you've got dark blue in the middle and pink on the bottom and top. There are so many ways of thinking about this. So let me first show you my original Dandy quilt. I was very, very into the whole ombre thing. I'm gonna back up so you see this quilt really good. All right, so you can see that it goes from light to dark at the bottom, and I've got this gradation of shade going on. So this is ombre, light to dark, right? This is something that we are going to give a little bit more thought to when we start sewing our strips together for our strip sets, but you kind of want to have this already in your head for planning purposes. So I want to go ahead and throw it out. If I was to sew all of my low volumes to other low volumes, I would end up with this straight line running across my quilt, which is fine if that's what you want. But I didn't want that. I wanted this gradation. There has to be some low volumes that I sew to medium fabric, all right? So you end up with, just not a straight line of low volume to medium. So there has to be some like this that you do. And then the same thing with the darker ones. We're gonna have to sew some medium to darker fabrics. That way you get that look and you're not looking at horizontal lines. Unless you want to look at horizontal lines. Let me show you one more thing before I show you my other dandy quilt. And this has nothing to do with this pattern or our quilt along. I just want to say how cute this is. All right, so you're looking at my binding, and this is Pure in Snapdragon. And I picked it because it just kind of melded with my fabrics down here, but I wasn't expecting that it to be not noticeable here, which I like, but then up here, it's a pop. I just think that is the cutest thing, and I want to do that or remember to do that on more quilts, but I really, really like the way that looks. It's a tiny little thing, and it obviously doesn't matter, but I like it, and it makes me happy every time I see it. Just so you know, this quilt that I made is mostly my Someplace Grand collection and some of my Wholehearted fabric collection. I've also thrown in here a few things just from my stash. I didn't have enough purples, so I've added a few that are fabrics from other designers. All right, so that's my original. Let me show you the one in my Clover fabrics. All right, in this one, I said no to ombre, and instead of focusing on that ombre, I wanted to use my Clover fabrics, and I wanted my strip set to be light and dark, kind of the way we did Checky. That was my thought process, and when you got rid of the whole ombre look and you did just light and dark strip set, you ended up with something like this, which is fun, right? And what I thought was kind of cool, I had a fat quarter bundle of Clover, and I wanted to use all of them, so I didn't use light and dark on every single strip set. I just used it on most. So some of it doesn't have that light and dark. I thought that was kind of a cool effect. Anyway, I really, really love this version of this quilt. It's different. It's, you know, breaking the rules of the pattern, but you know, who cares, right? That's pretty cute. And what was so great about these fabrics, they're all tonals. So they didn't have a lot going on, so they really show off, you know, that quilting. All right, so that's kind of another thing. Patterns are going to steer you to a place of how everything gets laid out, and that's fine. You know, sometimes you want just somebody to tell you what to do, tell you how to do it, and let's get it done. And then sometimes maybe you let your fabrics guide you, or maybe you have just an idea in your head that you need to make. Sometimes you break all the rules of the pattern and do your own thing. No wrong, no right. Have fun with this. Okay, a few quick things before I close up. If you participated in Checky Quilt, you are automatically subscribed to participate in Dandy as well, so you don't need to do nothing. You probably already received my email with the schedule in your inbox. But if you are brand new, there's a link right below this video of where you can get signed up for this quilt along, and everything that you need will be delivered to your inbox. Okay, so last time we had a lot of brand new quilters participating, so I do have bundles made. The whole point of these quilt alongs is to use your stash. But if you're new to quilting and you don't have a stash, that's okay. We have you covered. I've created a few bundles. I'm popping up pictures now of these bundles. They're available at Meander and Make. There's a link below this video of the kit page, and on that kit page is all the bundles we have for the different stash work quilt, the quilt labels if you want those, and the book with all the patterns in it. This is a beginner friendly quilt pattern. You can make this quilt, and we're going to walk you through every step of the way. Do not think that you can't do this because it may be your first quilt. If it's your first quilt, it's okay. You can do this, I promise. So yeah, I will be popping in periodically with the prize details. I will see you then. Thanks for watching.